Welcome to the Reducing Insurance Journal, Digital Marketing Edition. This is a weekly e-journal brought directly to your inbox. To subscribe, visit ridjournal.com. In today's issue, we are going to explore the topic, how dental patients choose a dentist today. You can also listen to us as a podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast tool. If you like video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, RID Journal. I'm Ben Tuine, and I'm your host for today's edition. Let's dive in. So today we have my trusted colleague and good friend, Mr. Naren Aruraja with us today. Naren, how are you, sir?
I'm doing just great, Ben. I'm looking forward to this conversation about how dental patients choose a dentist today in 2023. I think it's a great topic. It's a great topic because if we don't understand this thoroughly, we might end up making decisions as practice owners that would be detrimental to us, meaning instead of taking us forward, it might hurt us. So I think I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Absolutely. Likewise, also anything marketing wise that we ask you to speak about and dive into, we learn quite a bit. So let's dive straight into this. When we talk about the change in the year, right, 2022 to 2023, naturally there's some evolution with processes, and I imagine the same thing occurs with marketing. But so Naren, why is it important for practice owners to understand how dental patients buy in 2023?
Great question. I remember this wonderful story that Stephen Covey, who is one of my mentors, I never met him, but his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, changed my life when I was like around 18 or 19 years old. I was, studying, doing my degree in computer science and working part-time to pay for school. And I was working at this, office 45 minutes away. And one of the people who was my mentors in their office, had this cassette tape, a 7 cassette series, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said you should listen to it. He gave me the tape. So every time I would drive there, I was driving, I think 2 or 3 times a week, like a 2-hour trip, round trip, with traffic. I would listen to it. And one of the stories he shares in that is, he talks about this particular person who was driving around, I think it was Chicago, and the person was getting lost. He was looking up maps, but was driving faster and faster and trying to find his location. And because he was, getting more and more delayed for his appointment, 2-3 hours later, he's still lost. And then finally, he realized he had the wrong map. It was labeled Chicago. Remember, this is those days before Google Maps and, GPS and all that good stuff. So it was labeled Chicago, but it was the map of some other city. So of course, he was getting lost because he had the wrong map. So if you do not understand the dental buyer's journey in 2023, you're going to driving around with the wrong map and you're going to get lost. So it doesn't matter how hard you work, how much money you put into marketing, it's all going to be wasted. So I think today's conversation is a foundational conversation. So once you understand how dental buyers are doing things today, how they go about choosing a dentist, then of course you now can, be smart. You can create a marketing system, a marketing method that's going to attract the patients based on how they do things today versus how they used to do things, or versus, something you haven't really, it's like you haven't updated your map. You have an old map from the old world you come from, wherever that is, and then it's getting you lost. So I think it's really important for you to get the right map.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember those days coming from a third world country and flying into LA and driving from LA to San Francisco and then from San Francisco to Salt Lake City, having a map and having the key words on the map in terms of miles and distance. So much has changed since those old days now, where everything's digital, where, your car can speak to you on turn-by-turn directions, So diving into this whole journey here, Naren, in terms of how people buy, I'd love to sort of pick your brain in this area a little bit further. How do people buy today in terms of dentistry?
Absolutely. So today, just like the rest of their lives, people use Google to find out what they need to find out before they make a decision. So Google is used, 6+ billion times every single day. And every time somebody uses Google, and the average American uses Google multiple times a day, 10, 20 times a day, they are looking to discover the answer plus the person who can provide them that answer, meaning they're learning about the topic, and at the same time, they are figuring out who can help them solve that problem. So let's say they are looking to get a meal, of course, and they're feeling like they want to eat Italian food, so they are researching Italian restaurants and figuring out who has the good reviews, who's close by, etc. Same thing with the dentist, right? I mean, they start their research, and now there are emergency cases. Then they might be typing in keywords like emergency dentist or same day dentist, or they might not like their smile or their crooked smile, and they're like, oh, I think Invisalign might be a good answer. So they're searching up Invisalign and, the cost of Invisalign and, how it works and how long it takes and what could go wrong, and is Invisalign the right choice? So they are Googling to both educate themselves and to find someone who can help them with that need they have. So step one for you as the practice owner is you need to show up every time they type in something related to something you do. So for example, if you are a doctor who does a lot of Invisalign cases, you better show up for every search term related to Invisalign. And there are pretty much 30, 40 different search terms. For example, somebody might type in Invisalign with the word with the city name or the zip code or the county name. Somebody might say best Invisalign dentist. Somebody might type in Invisalign dentist near me. They might even type in the brand name of a competitor to Invisalign because they may have heard of that brand name instead of Invisalign. They might type in horror stories. They might type in before and after. So whatever they type in, your job is to show up, and you need to show up ideally for SEO. And the reason is we trust SEO, we don't trust ads. I mean, nobody goes to Google to see ads. We go to see what the organic results are. So when they come to you, through ads, they're only spending 15 seconds because they don't trust you, versus when they come to you through SEO, they're spending 90 seconds, meaning 6 times more time.
Yeah.
Now what they do is in that 90 seconds, they're trying to answer 3 questions. That's step 2. First question they're answering is, are you an expert? Because if you are not an expert, why am I taking a risk? Why am I, putting my health at risk and wasting my money, especially if it's a high value service that I'm going to pay out of pocket? Second question they ask is, do I trust you? Meaning, what kind of cases have you done? What do other patients think of you? What do Google reviews have to say? Because if I don't trust you, then again, going back to that, issue of, you are an expert who I can really believe in and, take a risk, why would I do that, right? If I don't trust you, I don't want to take a risk with someone I don't trust. And last but not least, do I like you? Because healthcare is very personal, they want to make sure that you are someone who will understand them. You are someone they feel comfortable, working with, because you're going to be doing things in their mouth and it's pretty invasive. So if they don't like you, they're not likely to pick you as a dentist. So the question is, in 90 seconds for that particular interest, whether it's Invisalign or sedation dentistry or emergency dentistry, whatever they're looking for, you need to answer these questions in that 90 seconds. Yes, I'm an expert. Yes, you can trust me. Yes, by the time you finish the 90 seconds, I hope I have convinced you that, you like me too. So I might be a good fit for you as a dentist.
Absolutely. I appreciate you going into those 2 different steps here to kind of set the foundation for what, hopefully we can talk about a little bit further. But let's go a little bit deeper into step 1, which is dominating Google search engine optimization, SEO. What are some of the key factors to being successful in this particular area, Naren?
Absolutely. Google SEO is 5 to 6 times cheaper and more effective than Google Ads. For the reasons I mentioned, people don't trust ads. So you need like 10 times more people for every person you get from SEO to get the same results, same number of new patient calls. And also, Google Ads are expensive. You're paying $3, $4, $5 a click. And every time somebody clicks, you're paying money. So it can easily add up to tens of thousands of dollars. Right. So yes, you can use ads, but if you don't have to use ads and you crush SEO, you have a really key advantage. Both your costs are going to be 1/5 or less than what it would be with ads. And also people trust you, so they're more likely to accept treatment. They're more likely to, listen to your recommendations. So there's a lot of benefits for dominating Google SEO. Now, the challenge is Google makes all its money or most of its money from Google Ads. So they made $209 billion from Google Ads. So it's better for them that most people don't do well with SEO. So 95% of the dental practice owners don't get any traffic or hardly any traffic from SEO. Why? Because now they all have to buy, Google Ads from Google and pay Google billions of dollars. So so your question you're asking, Ben, is, okay, how do I get into that 5% that's getting all the free traffic, that's have such an unfair advantage? The founders of Google, met at Stanford, and as many of you know who apply to the top dental school or top whatever school for yourself or your kids, you know that you have to be in the top 3 or 4% to get into that school. And the way those schools do it is they want to make sure that you have A in everything they care about. So GPA, you have a 4.0 GPA, you have stellar recommendations, you have the best essays, you have the best, entrance exam, whether it's dental school, dental entrance exam, or whether it's, SAT for university, for bachelor's degrees. So you have the best scores for that. You have the best extracurriculars. So you have a story beyond, school. So if you get an A in all of these things, you're going to get into Stanford or the best dental school. So the same thing with SEO. Because SEO is free, Google said, okay, here are 6 things we care about. If you're getting an A in every one of them, then you become one of the lucky 5% that's going to get all the free traffic. So what are those 6 things? I'm going to list them out. I'm not going to get into details. One is NAP, name, address, phone number consistency. So you want to have more and more sites with consistent name, address, and phone number for your practice. Google Lighthouse score. So every page gets a score. You want to make sure that you have a very high Google Lighthouse score page by page by page. Original content. So that's number 3. So, if you are following Google's content guidelines, number 1 is every word or every paragraph has to be original. You're not copying and pasting from other people. Again, you get an A for that. Number 4 is Google Eat. Google Eat doesn't affect all businesses. It affects certain industries. Healthcare is one of them. And again, if you follow those guidelines, you get an A for that. Number 5 is quality backlinks. That's like who's linking to you, and are those links worthy of being considered a quality backlink? Again, Google defines what a quality backlink is. If you do that, then of course you benefit from that. And last but not least, number 6 is Google reviews. How many do you have? Are they paragraph review? How often do you get them? What's your average star rating? So all those factors. So if you excel in all these 6 areas, and the secret for that is you have to work on it day in and day out in all these 6 areas, then of course you become one of the lucky 5% that's going to get all the free traffic from Google.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a full-time job. It's a lot to consider in terms of playing the game, which is true with anything, right? In business and in life, you have to know the game and play it very well. You talked about step 2, Naren, here, which is the 90 seconds that people spend on a page that they land on, where they're, you basically have to address 3 major questions, right? Number 1, the user's exploring to find out, number 1, if you're an expert. Number 2, do they like you? And then number 3, do they trust you? Can you share some tips on getting people to like me, the dentist, and my practice, and how to get these readers or these searchers that are on Google, how to get them to trust us? Can you share some tips in this area?
Absolutely. So liking, I would recommend, doing videos, answer simple questions that every single Invisalign patient may ask you in language that a 5th grader understands. Because when you talk in simple language and you come across as somebody who can explain things in a way that the average person understands, they're going to start liking you. Because a lot of doctors, unfortunately, are too technical and they get into this technical jargon, and a lot of patients are lost. So if you're one of those people who master the skill of talking in grade 5, language, then of course that's a huge plus. And remember, before they even come in, they can watch that video and get to know you and like you, which is amazing. Right now, your website is working for you 24/7 in front of thousands of people, so you don't have to. So it saves you time, plus gets people to like you before they even show up. Another thing around on trust, before and after pictures. So have simple cases where you explain how you did it, show the before and after. ideally include full face pictures, because the patients, again, are not dentists, so they may not appreciate just the teeth pictures because they don't understand what you did and why it's so difficult and so compelling. But when they see a full face picture, the before and after, it shows transformation. It shows how their life has changed. That's what they're looking for, especially the cosmetic patients who are going to, write the big checks. They want to know how that expensive treatment is going to transform their life. So those full face pictures, I'm a huge fan of. Of course, include Google reviews. So continue to get Google reviews, but then include them in the relevant pages. So you have a Google review talking about implants, include it in your implants page. Also, people think they're different. So when you do these before and after full face pictures, try to find people who are different. So for example, if you want to attract more young people or people of certain color, then have before and after pictures of people of that age group or that color. If you want to attract everyone, have pictures of everyone. So one of each, so to speak. So a 20 to 30-year-old, 30 to 40-year-old, and so forth. So you can really convince them that you have helped someone like them. So they are in good hands because they all think they're unique. So by showing someone that looks like them in age and color, you are really connecting with them. So this is all happening in that 90 seconds. And usually they're going to go through this, and in 90 seconds, they might check out a few websites. And the one they like the best is typically getting the phone call. Now, your phone, the people answering the phone have to do a good job because you don't miss out on those.
Right. That's pretty amazing. In terms of this whole journey, or at least understanding on how people purchases, it's kind of amazing in dentistry, right? When you're buying a car, you can drive a car before you put down thousands of dollars, and in dentistry, the relatability that you mentioned is kind of that's awesome in terms of understanding that a little bit more. Now that I, as a practice owner, understand this dental buyer's journey in more detail, if I'm thinking I want to make 2023 the best year yet with regards to new patients, where do you recommend that I start, Naren?
Absolutely. I recommend by analyzing where you are. So we offer a review. We call it a marketing strategy meeting. It's a 90-minute meeting, and we spend 6 hours preparing for it. You would do that with Lila Stone, who's our director of marketing. So we'll put a link. I would suggest you book that meeting. It's complimentary, no cost to you. At the end of that meeting, you will know a bunch of things. One, you will know how you stand with regards to the dental buyer's journey. Are you a crushing Google SEO? Yes or no? Are you getting an A, B, C, or D? And then if you're not crushing it, remember we talked about the 6 things you need to work on to get to an A and start crushing SEO. We'll also give you a plan saying, okay, this is where you are today with regards to SEO. If we do these things in these 6 areas, this is where you will end up by the end of the first 12 months. So you are in that 5% that's really doing well with SEO. So you figure out where you are and you get a plan. And then also on the second part, which is now that they end up on the right landing page, are they more likely to pick you or not pick you? We'll also go through that and give you some tips and strategies. So you have an amazing plan, an amazing report card. Take the report card and the plan and implement it. Take action, whether you work with us or somebody else. If you want to make 2023 your best year yet with regards to new patients, take action, because if without action, your future is not going to change. If you did what you did before without making any changes, your future will be the same as it used to be.
That's awesome. Very similar to the doctor's and patient's journey, right? You're going to assess their situation and then help create a treatment plan for them that'll address unique marketing strategies that could help them. So to book the marketing strategy meeting, please visit ridjournal.com/MSM. Highly recommend booking that meeting. Naren, talking to you about marketing, it's like, you're turning on this, you're opening the fire hydrant, right? There's a lot of information and a lot of great information, which we can easily recognize that it makes sense. And from my personal experience in applying some of these things, it 100% does speak to your expertise. So thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. If you love what we do here at ridjournal.com, tell your friends and share a review on iTunes or YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you are a dental speaker or a leader in a dental organization, don't forget to check out ridexperts.org. Till we meet again, I am your host, Ben Tuine.